Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our International Student Loans Info session. I'm Connor Blay with internationalstudent.com. As many of you already know, in the US, international students aren't eligible for federal student loans. This means that you will likely need to find a private lender in order to obtain your student loans. Today, we have a special guest, Arbaj Hashmi, the Manager of Business Development at Empower Financing, to provide you with expert information on international student loans. He'll also be answering any questions you have about obtaining a student loan. All right. Hi, Arbaz, how are you?
Doing good, Connor. How are you today?
Doing well. Glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. Really good to be here.
Our pleasure. So if you're ready, we're going to go ahead and start with your presentation, Arbaz.
Yes.
As always, to our viewers, if you have any questions related to student loans, just send a comment and we'll do our best to answer them before we run out of time. Additionally, we're going to link to our International Student Loans page in the comments. There you can use our student loan search tool to find and compare international students that you may be eligible for. All right, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, Arbaz.
Thank you so much, Connor. Can you guys see my screen? Connor, is it possible for you, everybody, to see my screen right now? I will take that.
Yes, everybody can see your screen right now, Arbaz. You're good to go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So welcome, everyone. I really am excited to be here. Last Connor said, my name is Arbaz Hashmi, and I head partnerships at Empower Financing. I have prepared a small deck, and I'd like to finish it in the next 20 minutes or so that we can keep the rest of the time just for your questions. It's supposed to be a small deck, and I would make sure that I hold myself to that commitment, right? So let's dive right into the deck. What we'll talk about in the next 20 minutes is the first 4 things. First, I would like to talk a little bit about how did we start and why we do what we do. Then a little bit about what is an Empower loan in the current ecosystem when we talk about from an international student's perspective. We also will be focusing a little bit about the numbers, the loan features, and exactly what do we offer to international students. And then lastly, my favorite topic, path to success, something that is pretty much tailored to an international student. And I really love talking about it, right? So let's dive into the main content. We started way back in 2014 by these 2 folks, Manu and Mike. They were international students themselves who came to the US sometime back before 2014, actually. And they realized that the student financing options were pretty primitive at that point of time and were not at all student focused. And when they met at INSEAD years later, this idea just clicked. It just made sense to do something about it because it definitely had a business opportunity to it, but also from an impact standpoint, it could help millions of students for years to come. And that is exactly how Empower was started. And for the last 7 years, that's exactly what we have tried to do. We tried to offer education financing to really high talented students and made sure that money is not a deterrent to their academic dreams. And how we do that is through a very diverse team, which comprises of 30 nationalities. And in fact, a lot of us are international students ourselves who resonate with the idea of helping fellow international students and really believe that this problem needs to be solved. A lot of us have already gone through the journey, and we feel that this problem is definitely something to be catered to, something that needs to be solved. And that's exactly why we are here doing what we do every day, right? A few things in numbers of what we have achieved in the last 7 years. We have processed up to $2 billion in loan applications and worked with somewhere around 377 universities, both in US and Canada. And we support virtually the globe, which is about 190 plus countries as of now. Only very few countries are exempted from our list. But like I said, 190 plus is such a huge number in itself. And because of all these things, because of what we have done in the last 7 years, we have been recognized by leading organizations like US News and NerdWallet, and they have named us as one of the best lending options for international students. And enough about the good things about Empower and so the numbers that we boast about. But let's dive into the whole idea of how we can actually help international students. So when we talk about the scenario where an international student is looking for a loan, there are definitely their home country lenders, which are traditional banks or private lenders, but they either need a collateral or a co-signer, or at times both. And there's definitely a significant amount of paperwork involved here, right? And then there's another option that international students can avail, which is US bank or a lender. They can definitely reach out to a bank in the US and apply for a loan, but they require a US co-signer, which is not the case for internationals. I mean, most of the international students, to be honest. In our experience, that has been like the number has been on the north of 80%. So it doesn't really serve the masses. And what Empower has done is try to remove the inefficiencies in these processes by being the only US based lender who can support international students without cosigner and a collateral. And that's exactly why we call ourselves the 21st century loan for international students, because as I mentioned, we do not require a cosigner, we do not require a collateral, and we do not require a credit history even. If you have one, we'll look into it, but that's pretty much it. Uh, we wouldn't say no to anyone if they don't have a credit score or a credit history. Some of the really top features about our loan are the fixed rates that we offer to international students, which means that the interest rate that the students would get would never ever increase. But I didn't say anything about getting them decreased. And yes, we do offer interest rate discounts. That's pretty unusual for a lender to offer. These discounts come with very simple milestones, simple conditions, and I definitely will talk a little bit about them as well. But in a sense, we offer these discounts for our student borrowers to be for being a good borrower and for being a good student. Something that I assume that 100% of them actually already want to be. We lend up to a maximum of $50,000 for a 10-year term and cover tuition, housing, and other meal expenses that school would actually invoice a student for. One of the unique ability of an Empower loan is the ability to get the disbursement directly to the school, which for a lot of international students works because they avoid any sort of a forex or a foreign currency transaction charges, which they would otherwise pay. And these transaction charges depend from country to country, and at times it could go as high as 3 to 4% in some geographies. Another favorite feature that I really love about the organization is the free visa support letters that we offer to international students. These are approval letters which the student gets as soon as their loan is approved with us, which they can use for their I-20 process as well as for their visa interview. And it definitely holds a lot of value, us being a US-based lender. So a person can really be assured that this is something they can actually use with their I-20 process as well as for their embassy procedures. And then we encourage our students to make sure that they are financially more secure. And if they want to prepay the loan early on, we don't have a problem with that. So you can totally prepay the loan in the next 3 months after taking a disbursement from us, and we wouldn't have any problem with it. Now, moving on from here, let's dive a little more into details of what we actually offer. And don't worry, I won't take you through the entire slide, but you can always come back to it during the question and answers round once if you have any specific question on the slide. But what I want to talk about is the interest rates that we offer to graduate students, which is at 11.99. And we offer, like I already mentioned, we offer a discount, which is up to 1.5%. And that brings the interest rate down to 10.49. For undergraduates, the rate of interest that they are offered as 13.99, and it can be brought down to 12.49 after the discounts. As I already mentioned, their discounts are 3 of 0.5% each and can add up to 1.5%. There are no upfront charges, which is pretty unique for in the case of international students, as a lot of their home country lenders, do have a certain bit of charges that they normally want the students to pay before they can actually get the disbursement. For us, the entire process is free of cost. You do not pay even a penny to us until the disbursement happens. And that's pretty true for us. What we do charge is an origination fee of 5%, but that's added to the loan amount of that the student gets disbursed, takes the disbursement off. So if the student is actually taking a disbursement of $10,000 from us, 5% of that is $500. And in a sense, the principal amount becomes $10,500. So the interest is charged on that amount. And if there is any specific questions on this, I would love to answer that in the questions round. Our minimum loan amount is $2,001, and we can fund a maximum of $25,000 per academic term. The academic term, this phrase is totally student-centric, and we let the students decide, how much do they want, or rather, what exactly do they mean by an academic term. If their program is divided into just 2 years, they can use $25,000 for 1 year and $25,000 for another year. If their program is divided into semesters, they can take $25,000 for one semester and another $25,000 for the next semester. If their program is divided into trimesters, however, the same logic, $25,000 per semester here, per trimester here. And that's exactly how we work, and we let the students decide when do they and how do they want to use this loan limit. The repayment begins 45 days after disbursement with interest-only payments. And I would love to talk a little bit about why students should make these interest-only payments, because it would end up helping them save a lot of money by the time they actually finish off their loans. We will definitely talk a little bit about that in the next coming slides. But right now, what I want to talk about are the discounts that we actually offer, because it's an exciting thing, to be honest, right? So as I mentioned, we offer 3 discounts of 0.5% each. The first one being a simple, a simple check with us, wherein if the student wants to go with an auto pay feature, which means that what they do is they connect an account, they connect their bank account with us and maintain a balance in that. And every month, a certain amount is deducted from that bank account. They opt for this feature, just opt for it right now, and they get a 0.5% discount right away. So without even making the first payment, a person can actually bring their interest rate down to, let's say if it's a master's program, from 11.99 to 11.49. They make 6 continuous payments using their autopay feature. They get another 0.5% discount, which brings their interest rate down to 10.99. So within 6 months, their interest rate is pretty awesome. It has been one of the lowest in the international student market, and something that it will remain there as well. That's pretty awesome too. And third, they graduate from the program and they get a full-time employment, and we offer them another 0.5% discount. So in a sense, if you look at this, these are rewards for being a good borrower and for being a good student. And if a student wants to avail these discounts, all they need to do is just reach out to us and let us know that, hey, I want to sign up for this. We would love to help them out and end up getting a 1.5% discount from us. And this discount, this interest rate remains at 10.49 for the lifetime of the loan, for as long as they want to let the loan go on. That is something that's pretty unique, right? And yes, the 2 discounts here actually are made because the students are making those interest-only payments. And why is it important to make those payments? Let's look at a simple comparison of loans. One, let's say we talk about an Empower loan, and another, some other lender who has actually offered the same amount of $21,000 to a student at, for the sake of calculation, let's take it as 12% per annum, right? The rate of interest. So for an Empower loan during the program, if we ask them to make those interest-only payments, the interest charge is about $210, and the student makes those payments. And by the time they graduate, since they've already paid all that interest, the principal amount remains the same. And after graduation, they make the payments with the principal amount on whatever interest is charged on that original principal amount itself, on $21,000 only. So they end up paying a certain amount in interest over the lifetime of the loan of 10 years. However, when a lender allows the student, or when a student doesn't want to, or they don't actually make any in-school or interest payments during the program, the interest doesn't vanish. It gets added to the principal amount. And by the time they graduate, their principal amount is much higher than what they started off with. So now, for the next 10 years or so, whatever the tenure of the loan is, they are paying interest on the increased principal amount. They might have originally asked for just $21,000, but in the 2 years itself, where they didn't pay any interest, they had started with somewhere around $26,000, and now they're paying interest on that. And in a sense, by the time the loan ends, they pay thousands of dollars extra. Something that could be saved easily by making small interest-only payments to us. Pretty simple maths. I hope so. And if there are any more questions, like I've said, we can always come back to this in this question and answer round. Another stark comparison I want to draw here is between the fixed and variable interest rates. for a variable interest rate if there are any market conditions out there, a pandemic, a recession, and if that risk actually floats down to a lender and it then increases their cost of capital, the risk is then passed on to the borrower, which means essentially that the interest rate increases. Whereas in a fixed interest rate scenario, these risks are totally being absorbed by the lender. This borrower doesn't really have to worry about any of those things. It's totally on us. Secondly, on a variable rate of interest, like I said, these conditions, these global scenarios can be very unpredictable, and as such, we can definitely not predict or cannot presume that this rate of interest would never increase, because like I said, these situations are not something that would happen with a warning. In fact, these are certain scenarios where nobody can actually predict them, and as such, as and when it happens, the student borrower just have to go with the flow. They can't really do anything about it. Whereas in the case of fixed interest rate, no matter what the conditions are out there, you can be assured that your interest rate would never increase. That's a pretty big relief, to be honest. And then in terms of budgeting, a fixed interest rate really helps you in budgeting your payments well, because you know exactly how much you're supposed to pay for the lifetime of the loan. Whereas in a variable interest rate, yeah, I mean, it's good that you know for the foreseeable future, but it can always change. And the payments would depend on whatever the effective interest rate is at that point of time. So not a very healthy game to be in for someone who is an international student in the US, already trying to save money and not being able to budget these things properly. And all of this talks about a little bit about what is an Empower loan and the features, and then moving on to the actual process of applying for an Empower loan. There are simply two criteria that one needs to adhere to. One, the student must be attending an eligible partner school, where in our universities, all majors are eligible. So it's not just a STEM program or an MBA. Feel free to apply for programs for non-traditional majors as well, like history, economics, arts, theater. Feel free to go for these programs as well. And we totally support those majors too. And second criteria is that the student needs to be within 2 years of graduation, which simply means that for a master's student, it works perfectly. You know, they have the 2-year program or a 1-year program. They can use our funds for the entire duration of the program. But for the undergraduate students, what it means is that we can fund only for the last 2 years of their study. If they are in a 3-year program, second and third years of study. If they're in a 4-year program, third and the fourth year. That's normally how it goes. And once they know that they're eligible, using a 30-second eligibility check at our website, they just have to fill in a 30-minute application form, which is on the website, and they can just proceed with that. They might receive a conditional offer from us based on the information that they have put in. If not, or even if they receive an conditional offer, we invite them to upload the documents on our dashboard and complete a short assessment, like a video assessment as well. It's nothing major, simple. Just want to make sure that you understand, the loan procedure, the loan terms, and you're really aware of, and you know exactly what you are signing up for. And then once the student gets an approval and they say that, hey, we want to take an Empower loan, we reach out to the school, we verify the enrollment, and disburse the funding to the school as and when the school actually asks for that. Pretty straight and simple. The student doesn't really have to worry about the funds being disbursed. We take care of all those things when we reach out to the school and get those things sorted out. And lastly, one of my favorite topics, what I said about the path to success. Here, I just want to put it out there that we pride in being a lender who really believes that we can only be successful when our borrowers are successful. What it means is that we want to make sure that the students that actually end up taking an Empower loan, and because at the end of the day, what we are looking at is their future income potential. The idea that the student is actually will be successful in the future or not. So we want to stand by it, and we want to get behind them and offer them all support that they would need to be successful in the US or in Canada. Any sort of a visa support, career prep with respect to resume reviews, job interview training, helping them building their credit history so that they can avail more financial services in the US, or something that happened last year, pandemic-related support, whatever they need at that point of time, one-to-one coaching, a pep-up talk. Even that is something that we actually reached out to the students to help them with, making sure that they were motivated with their job search, because they were testing times last year. A lot of our borrowers who graduated ended up getting their offer letters delayed. Their joining date was July but got extended to maybe November, and for the next 4 months they didn't really have any income source. So they panicked. We tried to calm them down, made sure that they were spot on focused. They had plan B, they had plan C, they had plan D, made sure that they were totally aware about the whole online hiring process, which were in the rage last year because there was no physical hiring procedures. Everybody was hiring online. There were video interviews, and a lot of international students were not prepared for video interviews as well. We made sure that they were trained, partnered with multiple organizations which could actually help them here. A lot of our students were interested in starting up. So we made sure that they understand the whole O1 visa concept and how can it help international students, and how can it help people to start up, and what are the benefits of an O1 visa. And yes, I'm proud to say that we actually created a difference. We helped our borrowers, and it was such heartwarming to actually receive those messages from them when they talked about the kind of support we offered. We didn't really start with that idea in mind. We just wanted to help, offer a lending hand to our students in addition to the loans that we do. But it came out something that we want to do for the years to come, and we make sure that this could be a differentiator. And we really care about our borrowers, and that's exactly how we want to help them. And with that, I would like to open for questions.
All right, that was fantastic, Arbaz. Thank you so much. So we have a lot of questions coming in for you, but before that, let me just say that we're talking about Empower today, but it's important to explore your options. Just explore the options that are the best fit for you individually. So with that being said, let me get to the first question. This is from Ansa or Ansa maybe. Do I need to have a guarantor in order to apply?
Nope, we do not require a guarantor or a co-applicant or a co-signer. Whatever term you want to use is totally student focused.
All right, excellent. So the next question I have is from Frank. What is the criteria for receiving a graduate student loan as an international student for pursuing graduate studies in the United States for fall 2021? It's important to note that every lender will have different requirements, but Arbaz, I'll let you speak on Empower.
Yes. So bottom line, what we assess is if the student is going to be successful using few parameters, few algorithms that we have. But what we look at majorly is the student's educational history, the work experience they've had previously, and the program that they're going for. And using all these parameters, we understand that how much debt the student can sustain in the future. If that debt is within our loan limit, we would love to offer you that loan. Simple.
All right, excellent. So the next question I have is from Najeri. Is Empower financing in Minnesota?
Well, we do fund schools in Minnesota. I'm pretty sure of that. There is a list of schools that I think international student can actually help you with that. Feel free to reach out to them and assess your eligibility. But I'm pretty sure we do support schools in Minnesota, a lot of them.
Yes, exactly. As Arbaz was saying, our international student loan tool can actually help you find a loan based on the school that you're attending and the location that you will be studying. So check that out. The next question I have is from Abdul. I want to know how much loans I can get and the interest rate, and if one can also stop using the loan after they get a full scholarship.
So the first question, what asked, I think is where the actual information is. So if you are going for a graduate program, your interest rate would begin at 11.99%. You can definitely bring it down to 10.49 using the discounts that we offer. Our maximum loan limit is $50,000, and the minimum loan that we can offer is $2,001. Connor, could you repeat the second part of the question? I think there was something about scholarships.
The second question was, if they were to get a full scholarship, could they stop using the loan?
Oh, totally. In fact, we also offer scholarships. So feel free to, use that and let us know that, hey, I got a full scholarship, and you would hear nothing but good words from us. Don't worry about it.
Right. Great. All right. So the next question I have is from Sarah. When do we need to start paying back the loans?
Again, on the slide itself, so how it begins is you pay interest-only payments 45 days after disbursement, and you pay it for the duration of the program plus 6 months after that. After this period ends, you start paying the principal plus interest on that. So you start paying effectively the EMI for the rest of the duration of the loan, which is about 10 years. So if I could take an example here, let's assume that you're going for a 2-year program. For the first 2 years, and you're taking a loan for both the years of that program from us. For the first 2 years plus 6 months after that, that is 30 months, you will be paying interest-only payments. And for the next 10 years, you'll be paying interest plus the principal amount. So effectively, that brings your tenure to loan duration to about 12.5 years.
All right. Great. Thank you. So the next question is from Ansa again. Do you give loans to international students from Jamaica coming to the US?
Yes, I'm pretty sure we do.
All right, excellent. So does that cover all of the Caribbean too?
I think so.
I think we had another
I'm pretty
question.
sure there are very few countries that are on our no-go list, and I think envisage Jamaica is definitely on that, and we could always do an analysis of that. And I think International Student Loan Widget can actually help you with assessing with those things as well. So feel free to give it a try over there. But I'm pretty sure that we do, fund a lot of countries in the Caribbean as well. We actually we have partners over there, and we have received a lot of applications from them too.
Excellent. Okay, so the next one is from Beatrice. I have received a place in America, but I am not able to pay for my fees. Is it possible for me to get a loan, but then I don't have a cosigner? I am an international student.
We would love to help you. That's exactly why we exist, helping students who really want to go to US who do not have cosigner. Please reach out to International Student Loan Widget, fill in your information. If you are eligible for a loan with Empower because of the school that you're going for, because you didn't mention that, we'd love to help you out here.
All right, great. So another question from Ansa. Do you cater for PhD students? Also, can I apply each semester for a loan?
Yes, we do cater to PhD students, and you can totally take the loan semester-wise as well. Should not be a problem.
All right, perfect. All right, so this question is from Virginia. I'm going to take this one if you don't mind, Arbaz. I tried to apply but did not understand the process in filling out the forms. So if you have used our student loan search tool and you weren't able to find the results that you were looking for or anything like that, you would need to contact the lender directly. They should be able to help you out individually. Unfortunately, at internationalstudent.com, we can't provide individualized assistance. However, lenders like Empower are able to do that. All right, so that being said, the next question is from Mary. Does Empower finance 2-year courses in colleges?
We fund 2 years courses, but when you talk about colleges, that is something that you might have to check in terms of eligibility. Is your school within our list of supported institutions or not? But we do support 2 year school programs.
Check that loan tool. Alex asks the next question. What is the likelihood or possibility of getting the loan if I apply because for a master's in Canada?
So I think the simplest answer I could give you is don't wait, just apply. I already gave us some sort of an idea of how exactly do we evaluate our students, which is on the basis of the future income potential. We would simply love to understand, based on the parameters that you would give us, how much how much would you be earning after you going through the program, and basis that will decide how much debt can you sustain. It's a fairly simple, at least explanation, not maybe procedure wise. But like I said, it's a no-cost process. You don't really pay us anything until the disbursement. So why don't you just apply? Don't worry about the chances of getting a loan or not. If you are going for a decent program, if you have a good education history and have a considerable amount of, not considerable, but relevant work experience, I would say. I think considerable is the wrong word to use here. I think you have a decent chance of making the cut. So feel free to apply.
All right, yeah. No harm in trying. The next question is, how can I get a loan without a cosigner or with a cosigner? Sorry.
Unfortunately, we don't right now. I mean, and I don't think we would. In fact, we don't offer loans with cosigner, but feel free to apply it at studentloan.com. I think they can definitely redirect you to some with cosigner options.
Absolutely. We do have loan options with a cosigner as well in our Find My Student Loan tool. The next question is from Muna. Does it cover things like accommodation or no? A loan.
Yes, you can totally use that money to, if you, and there are two scenarios here. If you're going for an on-campus, the university will just let us know how much money to pay for that accommodation, and they deduct that amount from whatever we'll disburse to that. If you're using an off-campus housing, however, what you need is that because that money that we'll disburse to the school would be a little extra than what they need, they'll just transfer it back to you using a wire transfer or write you a check, and you can use that amount to pay for your housing. So,
All right, perfect. So another question we had is, what is a cosigner?
sorry?
What is a cosigner?
Okay, so in a sense, a co-signer is basically any individual who would be ready to be legally liable to repay a loan with you, and essentially he or she should be earning, and they have a steady income in place and should have a good credit standing. And that person will be equally liable to pay a loan if you are not able to do that. So it's a legally bound contract that a co-signer signs on. When they agree to becoming someone's co-applicant or a guarantor or a co-signer.
All right, excellent. All right, so I think we have, that's all the time we have for questions. If you did ask a question in the comments and we didn't get to it, we will go ahead and answer that later on. We just have to go ahead and wrap this live stream up. But thank you all for joining us today. We hope you all got something out of it. I'd like to remind you that we've linked our student loan search tool in the comments section. You can use this tool to find and compare international student loans that you may be eligible for, including a loan from Empower. Arbaz, thank you again for joining and providing great information today.
Thank you so much, Connor, for inviting me. Yes, I loved the conversation. I loved the questions.
Great. It was great having you. Thank you to everyone for watching us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in.